Hello everyone and welcome once again to Primetime. I'm your host Beverly and thank you so much for being with us today. We are highlighting, as usual, what we really like to do, a personality profile. We have with us in studio a young man who's very talented and he has a great eye for photography. So stick around and we'll be right back, for this is Primetime.
At Nagico, the things that matter to you matter to us. Like knowing you're covered when your house gets flooded, getting your settlements quickly and fairly when a fire hits your home, and making sure your business can keep going even after an accident happens on site. At Nagico, we're about much more than just insurance. We're about the big things and the small things that mean everything.
Hey guys, did you know that now with Telcel, if you accumulate $25 or more within one calendar month, you get 15 more?
15 more?
Yes, 15 more. However you want.
So I can top up $3 now, $10 next week, and so on until I reach or pass $25?
That's right. Get 15 more.
Wow! I feel like a 15 again.
Yeah. Right. Accumulate $25 or more within one calendar month and get 15 more. Telcel, when you want more.
Welcome back, and this is Primetime. Welcome to my guest in studio today, and his name is Donovan Smith. And why did I invite Donovan Smith to the program? Well, I saw some photography that he did on Facebook, and I was really mesmerized by the images. So we thought it would be a great idea to bring him in and chat with us. Welcome to the program, Donovan.
Thank you, and let me just say it's a pleasure being here. It's an honor as well, and thank you for having me.
Yes. Your dad has sat on this chair many times, and so it's
this
nice
I
to
know,
yeah,
this I know.
And as you said, those are big shoes to fit.
Big shoes to follow, and a big chair to follow in this case.
You're doing pretty okay in your own right.
Let's hope so.
So tell us, how did you get involved in photography?
Well, a few years ago, I became active doing things on St. Martin. When I came back here, I realized that, hey, there's so much that St. Martin has to offer in terms of activities, in terms of hiking and water sports that you can do. So I decided one day, why don't I start capturing this stuff that I do? So I bought a GoPro and I started taking videos of the things that I was doing and sharing them on Facebook. And I tended to get a lot of comments and a lot of likes from the still images that I put up from those activities.
And not so much from the video.
Some from the video, but the video takes a lot more time to work on, a lot more work to put together. Yeah. So a lot of the images got a lot of positive returns. So I started focusing more on that and taking more pictures. Last year, I got a cheap camera, or 2 years ago, I got a cheap camera, a DSLR, and I started taking pictures of some of the events around the island. Last year, I did a shoot of the Carnival Parade, and this year, I got a more professional camera, and it was really my goal to capture it to the best of my ability.
So were you always doing people, faces?
I always like to capture the emotion in people's faces, yes. Just no matter what. There's something about any activity that you're doing. We as people, we're social creatures. So we always, better than the activity, we want to see what the people's emotions are in that activity. So I always wanted to capture that. So when I'd go scuba diving, instead of capturing the fish and the sharks and the dolphins and the turtles that you see, I always want to capture instead the faces of the people that are seeing those dolphins and seeing those sharks and seeing those fishes. And it started from there, and I knew, hey, the faces were the key, the eyes were the key, the smiles were the key, so let's go with that.
How do you know that you're doing pretty well with this? I mean, of course, I saw this, and here you are on the program. Yes. But apart from this, how do you know that you're really hitting the spot?
Well, I have some very brutal friends that would really tell me if I was doing something wrong, and so far, I've gotten a lot of good positive criticisms and some good critiques that I can build from over the last few months, the last few years. So I know I'm not perfect. I know that there's much better photographers on the island, but you know it's a process, and I want to take that process to as far as I can get.
But as from what I'm seeing, you've kind of built a niche for yourself, because what I saw was hundreds of faces.
Yeah. Okay. So one thing I noticed from all the carnival pictures and why I focused on carnival and the faces in general is because there was a convergence. A few years ago, they started doing a lot of body paint and so forth,
Right.
and decorations on the faces, especially for the people for carnival. And I think most other carnival photographers, they generally want to capture the entire costume, which
Right.
is fine. And
Yeah.
there's some amazing pictures
That's
out
okay.
there.
Yes.
But I figured, hey, the best thing that I can do is capture the emotion. What are these people? What are those revelers? What are those paraders getting out of this experience of carnival?
Yeah. And how, I mean, okay, so we're going to go back to carnival again. How easy or difficult is it for you to because you have a whole set of people, you know, jumping in a band and so on. How do you choose that particular face?
Well, I guess it's just something that it comes to me, and it also helps what's happening at the time. So
Right.
you have to choose the right place to go. So in this case, I went to where I know that the people would be at their best, at their brightest, at their most jovial, and I went to right where the revelers were being judged, right after the Prince Bernard Bridge. And
Okay.
it was easy to capture it at that point because all the impressions that people had that they wanted to make for carnival were for the judges.
Right.
So I wanted to capture the pictures at that point in time. And it also helped that some of the music this year was amazing. People loved it. And every time Versatile's music came on.
He's listening, so let's big him up.
Every time it played, I got a great reaction. And it was easy to capture some of the faces at that point in time.
Right. So now, the big job. You have all these hundreds of pictures that you've taken. How do you choose which ones you're going to put on Facebook?
What I do, what my process is I just choose the faces that I see the most depth in. I don't like to generally take the faces of people that are posing for me. I like to see,
Yeah.
hey, is there a face that I can point out where somebody just caught the eye of someone that they may have known, or somebody that they love, one of their loved ones, their kids or something, and when that person captures that eye, then their face lights up.
So if someone poses as not natural, it's kind of...
You have to be a
kinda set up.
professional to
Yeah.
have a natural looking face when you
Yeah.
pose. But it's just, I like the candidness of when people see someone they know, that revelation that, hey, this is me, I'm in my best, and I'm doing what I can do for this parade. So it worked.
Yeah. How important is it for color?
For color, well, I think for our carnival, color is very important because my idea for the pictures is I like to frame my entire photo. So if you look at the pictures, you'll see that I try to make sure that the face is in the image and their whole face is framed by all the colors that are around the face. So that gives a great contrast. You have that face, that brown or white or whatever skin complexion you have, but then you have these colors that bring a certain kind of depth to the image.
Right. Okay, so we take a break, and when we come back, there's so much to share. Apart from Donovan doing this, he's also an IT guy during the day. I suppose that pays the bills.
Yes.
So we talk a little bit about that. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back, for This is Prime Time.
People all across St. Martin are switching to a more rewarding experience. The WIB MasterCard Fun Miles credit card, better known as My Card. Earn 1 Fun Mile for every $2 spent, even abroad and online. This will quickly get you a ton of Fun Miles to redeem for travel, shopping, food, fuel, and much more. But there's more to My Card. Worldwide acceptance, an EMV chip for extra security, and 250 free Fun Miles with first use. Switch to My Card today at WIB.
Fun miles, from within your reach.
At Travel Planners, we love what we do. Every day we help our clients plan their vacations, from honeymoons to family reunions, trade shows to conventions, school trips to sports tournaments. Our agents at Travel Planners can help you make better, wiser decisions on travel destinations and cruises and find you the lowest fares. Make some memories with help from Travel Planners in Phillipsburg and on the Airport Road, Simpson Bay. Visit our website at Planners SXM and like us on Facebook at St. Martin Travel Planners. We take care of all your travel needs.
cruise is a great adventure. Not only for passengers, also for us. The Port of St. Martin. Our port always reflected the needs and aspirations of the time. From the first to the 1.75 millionth passenger in 2013. Our cruise story started in 1963 with our first cruise passenger. 50 great years later, 20 million passengers later, thousands of cruise berths later, we've become the leading port in the Caribbean. 50 fantastic years. Like a dream. The dream of Port St. Martin lives on and reinvents itself every day. The best is yet to come.
Welcome back and thank you very much for joining us. This is Prime Time and I'm speaking to Donovan Smith. He is, he called himself an amateur photographer. I would think it's a little bit more than that. But anyway, we'll stick with that for now. And he's also an IT guy during the day.
Yes.
Yes. I want to ask you something. We're going to go back again to the faces. How easy or difficult is it for people to stand a minute or a second for you to take the picture, or you don't really bother with that? You just click, click, click.
That's right. Because I'm trying to take candid pictures of people in the height of their emotions or the height of their reaction to seeing someone else, or in the presence of their dance or whatever. I try to make it so that the shutter speed is high enough that I get a nice sharp image no matter what they're doing.
Gotcha. And so let's say you're doing the Carnival Parade. On an average, how many pictures do you think you take?
Ooh-wee. I think this carnival, I tried to cut it down. So I took about 1,000 pictures over the course of the 2 days.
And so do you do both days, the first day and the second day?
I did the first day, and the second day I just decided, I'm going to take a couple pictures, just like 100 or 200, and I'll enjoy the rest of it.
And is there a difference between the first day and the second day?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think on the second day, normally the costumes aren't as nice as they are on the first day. Yeah, so
the body paint is not so intact. Yes.
On the first day, you get the nice spread of feathers around their body and so forth. On the second day, normally the feathers are gone.
Yeah, I know.
There's holes in the costumes, so that's why it's not so good to take those pictures on the second day. But of course, it depends on the person, how well they keep their costume up.
Where can you see these pictures land? You think they're going to want to ask you to use it on the schedule that they normally have for Carnival? Do people ask you to use your pictures, to buy them?
A few people have started asking me for pictures. Yes, that is correct. And, I'm just an amateur for now, and it would be an honor for my pictures to be used in some sort of media in the future. So hopefully, maybe I get some more recognition that way.
Well, I suppose after this program, we put you on Facebook and YouTube, and you get all your friends to like and subscribe.
Yes.
I think you're going to get some work coming.
Okay, I hope so.
So tell us, your day job, you're an IT guy, tell us a little bit about your course of studies.
Okay.
Because we also have young people who are looking at it, and we want to motivate them and encourage them that, there's so many opportunities out there.
All right, well, in 2001, I graduated at the tender age of 16 from the St. Martin Academy. And in 2002, I left to go to the U.S., to Tallahassee, to school at Florida State, where I got my Bachelor's of Science in Computer Science. So I stayed my 4 years there, finished my college, and then I went to Tampa, and I worked at a...
Oh, you took the 1 year?
I took 2 years, actually.
Oh, okay.
I was working over there for 2 years in a financial institute in the IT department over there. And then I returned back to St. Martin in 2008.
How challenging was it for you to get a job?
In St. Martin?
Yes.
Surprisingly so, it was not challenging at all.
Do you think because of your course of study?
I don't know. I think that sometimes, God has a blessing for you. I think that I'm blessed in very certain ways, and one of those ways is being jobs. So I normally never have a problem finding a job. And basically, I came back to St. Martin, and I didn't want to work. I had been working in my school days. So when I went up to college, I started working immediately. So I worked for those 4 years, plus the 2 years. I had been working nonstop. Came back to St. Martin, I decided, let me take a break.
But it was only 6 years of work. What about people who work 35 years of work? All right, but I'm going to say you're spoiled. Yes, so you decided you didn't really want to work. You want to take a break.
So I took a break. I was here for a month doing nothing, and then my dad told me, you need to find a job now.
Yeah, right. Bills to be paid, huh?
Yeah.
You're eating a lot.
So I went, a colleague of mine at that point in time, he knew someone at Antec. He knew the boss, and he said, why don't you apply there? So I applied there. Apparently they liked it, so they called me in the next day.
Wow.
And they hired me the very next week.
So you're at Antec still?
I'm still at Antec. So
what is a day in the life at Antec?
Well, I'm in the software department. I'm the head of the software department, and what we do is we support and customize applications for supermarkets and retail stores and wholesale stores, also bars, restaurants, and so forth. So a regular day for me is I take calls and set up fires. All day, people call me with issues, and I either try to solve the issues myself, or I assign some of my colleagues to assist or solve issues or help them out, customize their program.
You have a lot of work?
A lot of work, a lot of work.
Yeah, there's a lot of need out there.
There's a lot of need. And we have a lot of customers all around the Caribbean, actually, not only on St. Martin. Okay. So we do support for Curacao and Bonaire and Aruba and St. Thomas and Anguilla and Statia and Saba.
You got your hands full.
Hands full.
Yeah. Okay. Would you call yourself an artistic person?
Well, I've had a lot of artistic people in my family. My mom, she used to paint and she used to draw. So when I'm comparing myself to people like her or my brother, who's extremely artistic.
Ask you about your brother. He has more of it than you?
He's an amazing artist, but I think I have an eye. I have an eye. I know what I think looks good, and people have always been complimenting me about the pictures that I take of other things, not so much of myself.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so, where do you see a future for that?
Well, I'm hoping that maybe this hobby can become a little bit more than that, and I can make people happy with the things that I do, because that's the point of it. I just want to make sure that people get these pictures and they look the best that they can possibly look. And even if that isn't with a smile, it can just show so much more depth, and I capture that moment. I just want to make people happy.
I know we talked a lot about carnival images, but where do you also find yourself capturing images?
Capturing images. I like to, like I said, I do a lot of activities. So I go on hikes every now and again, and I go to abandoned places on St. Martin. So I've done photo shoots at like the Natural Pool and in Anse Marcel and at the La Belle Creole, for example. So I just like to go to places that people not necessarily have seen as yet. And I like to show people new things around the island, especially. I think one day I want to start a YouTube show maybe where I can show things that people haven't done before on St. Martin, because I think
that is what you have to do.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Okay, we'll take a break, and when we come back, how much pressure is it for you being the son of Pastor Smith, and also he is involved in politics? How much of a stress is that on you to live up to that name? So we'll chat about that in our final segment.
All right.
Stay tuned, and we'll be back in a moment. Don't forget to subscribe us on YouTube and on Facebook. Be back in a moment. The Daily Herald is my first source for up-to-date information and news. Putting together this program of prime time requires research and knowledge of current events. For local news, regional and international news, do read the Daily Herald.
Hey guys, did you know that now with Telcel, if you accumulate $25 or more within one calendar month, you get 15 more?
15 more?
Yes, 15 more. However you want.
So I can top up $3 now, $10 next week, and so on until I reach or pass $25?
That's right. Get 15 more.
Wow! I feel like a 15 again.
Yeah. Right. Accumulate $25 or more within one calendar month and get 15 more. Telcel, when you want more.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. we are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
And so the Smith name carries some weight with it. We all know your dad in education for many, many years, and recently he's dabbled in some politics, the St. Martin Christian Party, and he didn't only dabble in politics, but he's keeping them on their toes because he's constantly writing articles and pointing things out that need to be looked at. Tell us about that.
Well, I always joke with my dad that he has some huge shoes to follow and he hasn't made it easy for me or my brother. I mean, when he was my age, for example, he was already about to become governor of Saba. So
right.
So he hasn't made it easy, but you know, at the same time, he hasn't pressured us to do anything besides be ourselves. So my dad, he's extremely supportive in any way he can be, and he hasn't put his heavy hand down on anything that we try to do. He's just been amazingly supportive as a person, so I can't fault him for that.
And as a young guy growing up, losing your mom, how was that? How did you all balance that?
Yeah, that was an extremely trying time for us because our mom was really the center of things. She kept the family together. So what we did as a family is my brother, he lived in Holland with his fiancée at that time. He moved to St. Martin.
Right.
And I moved from America back down to St. Martin.
Right.
So we all decided that we were going to come back and be with my dad and get a closer family. So that's how we handled it. I don't know if that's the best way, but I think it worked out for us.
But it's working.
Yeah.
I think one of them is living with your dad somewhere.
Yeah, we all live really close, like
in the close
really
proximity.
St. Martin style.
Yeah,
My brother lives in the front, I live in the back, my dad lives in the middle.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah.
And he has the full support. Anybody is showing that persuasion to be in politics?
You know, I always get that question,
Yeah.
like, do you feel that you could be in politics at some point in time? I'm very, 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 very politically minded. I love politics. But at the same time, I know that it isn't the right time for me. And I want to, if I was to go that route, I would want to make sure that it's something that is wise and I have the right backing. And right now, that's not where I am in my life.
And also you grew up in a Christian home. Your dad was the head pastor in the church and so on. What about that? Precious youngsters going up trying to live up, because that's not an easy life to follow either.
You know, I don't want to like make any jokes about it, but it was pretty easy. My parents were not very strict parents. We had rules and we had to follow them, but we could watch whatever we wanted to watch. My parents were very understanding. The only thing that was very strict about my parents is we had to be home at a certain time. But besides that, when I compare my life to some of my other friends who were also brought up in a Christian experience, and they weren't able to watch like Harry Potter or something for whatever reason, my parents weren't like that at all. They would let us watch it, and if we wanted to, we could talk about it afterwards. Or they'd just explain things. Hey, this is a movie, this is not real life, etc., etc.
Right. I think maybe that was a secret.
Maybe. So they were very lenient, but strict. There were certain rules that we
you knew what
not.
kind of home you were in, and you knew about the invisible boundaries.
Yes.
And I suppose that's what made it work.
I think so. I think so. They really raised us right, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. So tell us, you're a young man, you're head of IT at Antec. Are you dating?
I'm currently not dating.
Is that purposely done, or is it because you're so busy into all your activities that you don't have time? Or you're still looking for that girl?
I wouldn't say I'm looking, but if it so happens, I'm not opposed to it.
But is it challenging to find a partner in today's kind of life?
I think it is challenging because maybe I don't think I'm in the right part of my life to commit to something quite as yet. I think I want to just reach that next stage before I make that commitment.
I
if that
surely-
makes any sense.
It makes a lot of sense. I understand and I can relate to that very well. Where can people find some of your photography? I know you're on Facebook. Do you, I know you posted a lot for Carnival, but do you post periodically on Facebook? Or you do that in spurts?
I tend to do it in spurts because I'm amateur at this point, and a lot of the photography that I do is with my friends or some acquaintances, so I don't necessarily want to post their pictures up without their approval.
Right.
But if you want to get more information about where you can find my pictures, I think you can just go to my website, which is donovansxm.com. This is
That's easy.
Yeah,
Yeah. No underscore anything.
DONOVANSXM.com.
Okay.
And then it has links to my Facebook and my Instagram, if you feel like following, and my Twitter, and my email address.
And he just showed me the trick for the best selfie. I mean, I know my arms are a little bit short, but he gave me the correct angle that I can, so I'll be trying these selfies. And so before we close off, 3 words to describe yourself.
3 words to describe myself. I think that I am logical, adventurous, and inquisitive.
Let's see. Alrighty. The inquisitive goes with the logical. Right. So after you dig up and find, now you have to make the logistics out of it. Yeah. So,
exactly.
So yeah. So that blends in. Donovan, we'd like to thank you very much for joining us on the program. Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
You did a fantastic job, and I know that our viewers will enjoy all the images that we showed while we had the conversation, and we wish you good luck.
Thank you. I
And
appreciate
so come back when you start making all that money with those photographies, because we started you off at here.
Okay.
Good
And when
seeing
you
you.
want a photo shoot, let me know.
Yeah, all right. I suppose that will be a freebie. Thank you. Maybe.
All right.
Thank you very much for joining us. This has been Prime Time. We'll see you next week, and may God bless you.